व्हाट इज अ रोबोट? रोबोट क्या है? कुछ तो पता होगा।
Is a like a machine that is used to program to behave like a particular
ओके, और
program this machine.
और रोबोट क्या है? नहीं, सुना तो होगा रोबोट। देर आर सो मेनी टॉयज ऑल्सो of robot. What the toy does? Doing some task like human being. Okay, so understand how the development started. See, have you heard the name of person Isaac Asimov? Isaac Asimov, सुना है नेम ऑफ द पर्सन? किसी ने भी? इज अ साइंटिस्ट. Asimov is a scientist. We are talking in science and technology, so he's a scientist. He's not a scientist. He's a science fiction author. Clear? You understand science fiction stories? What type of stories are like sci-fi stories, sci-fi movies? कैसे स्टोरीज होते हैं ये? Like see, like stories means what? Imaginary things are given in stories. Likewise, this is also a story. But what the thing is, in this story, it is not only imagination. Imagination bases its science. Like for example, in this story you will find, like there is a halo orbit where you have placed something, it has not fallen. Clear? Such type of thing you will find in sci-fi stories, okay? And such type of imagination based on sciences are shown in sci-fi movies. Is clear? So, Asimov was a science fiction author, was writing science-based stories by the time of 1940s decade. Okay, you have read in modern history, this was the time practice of slave trade. The colonial powers in their colonies were taking slaves from one place to another, and a human being was used as a slave to perform even very hard task for another human being. Is clear? He was very much affected by this trade, and he started writing such, encountering such practice. Like, again come to this point, many such stories comes in this regard, but what the new thing in this story is countering the thing with the basis of science. For example, he was countering that a slave is doing forced labor. This is the case, this is the work, so why to do this work for a human, by a human? He came out with some imagination that there will be a machine like this that will be performing the task. Clear? So many such imagination he presented in his stories to counter slave trade. Clear? In the Greek, there is a word called robota. Robota means forced labor or compulsory service. So, in his writing, Asimov was countering robota, that is, to work about finishing, about eradicating robota from society. Is clear? So he started coming out with such writing. Now, we have discussed, recall in the topic ICT, this was the contemporary decade when there started the development of electronics. We have discussed that how electronics development started, and by 1980s electronics was hardware based. There for development from 90s, 80s to present made electronics as hardware plus software. Clear? We call this electronics mainly as computer. We have discussed this in a great detail. Now you can understand about the development of electronic devices, how electronic devices developed: vacuum tube, transistor, IC, then for development, processor and all, that is technically called as LSI or VLSI. That is the modern electronics design concept. Clear? So his writing and electronics development. Now see, in this development, what was going on? Electronics called television, electronics called telephone, electronics called satellite was manufacturing. So the ongoing development in science and technology have considered the ideas of Asimov and introduced a new branch of science and technology, called it as robotics. Is clear? His writing was countering robota. So on his name and on his ideas, the ongoing development of science and technology introduced a new branch called robotics. So very simple, what is robotics? A field of science and technology which started working for the development of one electronics called robot to perform human task. Is clear? So in simple, it is clear to you how this branch evolved, point number one. And in this branch, how there started the development of a new electronic like television, telephone, new electronic called robot. Clear? So in simple, I asked you what is a robot? What is a robot? Is an electronic device which performs human task. Simple. Now, entire development of this branch was based on the writing of Asimov. Clear? So this branch, you can understand, developed on the ideas of this writing, and in this branch, as is the electronics, so the way electronics developed, this branch also developed. Clear? Now, in the ongoing development, as scientists have taken idea from such writing, so anywhere when Asimov was writing a story, he was emphasizing much more on one point. That is, anywhere he was presenting an imagination, he was emphasizing that robots must never be utilized, or any such device must never be utilized against human being in any way. For example, take a case. Such devices needs to work in place of human, but this does not mean that such devices will be misused. In any case, for example, if say someone will start assigning a robot to write for me class notes, you can understand? If the robot will be allowed to sit for someone in UPSC prelims, you can understand? If a robot will be allowed to wage a war to some country, you can understand who will win. If a robot will be allowed against human being, clear? So you can understand, I have taken several examples. What does this mean? That in any application, such devices never to be utilized against human being. Clear? If say such devices will be allowed to write exam, you can understand, no human being can compete to such device. If such device will start playing cricket, no one can compete. If such device will start fighting, no one can compete. So what does this mean? That such devices need to be regulated. Clear? So on the ideas of Asimov, the branch was placed under the umbrella called as laws of robotics. Clear? So what was the idea in his writing? That no way robots or any such device to be utilized against human being. So the ongoing development of science and technology have taken the idea of SMO and presented this branch under laws of robotics, which states that no robot in any way can be utilized against human being. Is clear? So in its regulation, technically it is defined that what will be the basis of design of robot. So now coming to the topic, you have written design and types of robot. So what will be the basis? So what will be the basis? Laws of robotics. Clear? On this basis, a robot to be designed. And while it's designed, a robot to be designed on two bases. Clear? So now here onwards, there started the technical development of robotics. Clear? So under this technical development, so far what we have seen, that is a new branch. This branch work about development of electronic device called robot under this law. So according to this law, according to this regulation, they are defined two technical bases for the development of robotics. Clear? Now, the first basis. So on this very basis, they started the design of robot. First basis. Work which we human being can't perform. Clear? There are several work, and you can understand why such need also arised. Because we have discussed, say, a nuclear technology. Nuclear technology, you know, nuclear fuel is placed inside the nuclear reactor. Now, you know, the moment it will be placed, sudden radiation comes out. What does this mean? That no human being can place nuclear fuel in the nuclear reactor. Clear? So I can say this industrial task a human being can't perform. Is clear? So what is the first basis? Work which we human being can't perform. But there are so many works. But this is to be regulated, and this is regulated in three words: dangerous, dirty, and dull task. Dangerous task. Example, nuclear fuel. Dirty and dull. See, during those days, science and technology was in evolving stage. And you know, it was the developed countries who work mainly in science and technology. So developed countries and writings of SMO have presented about serious reservations about one social evil called manual scavenging. You know, in manual scavenging, a human being clears sewage lines and septic tank. Clear? This is considered as a social evil, dangerous task also due to poisonous environment. Various death cases are also reported. So now you can understand how advanced developed countries were, that by this time they countered this social evil by technology. They came to this point that is the science and technology advancement only by which we can eradicate many social evils. It is not the law. Several countries, still for example, in India, there are laws to work towards this. But in spite of the law, it's still in work. And if no technology will be there, then who will clean? So you can understand, in spite of the law, still the manual scavenging is going on. Clear? Now, why the question is important, eradication of social evil? Because recently, Government of India under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan have also started a project of this development that we'll be discussing in application. Is clear? So the point is clear that it is defined that it is the work which can't be performed by human being, but not any work. Work to be licensed only in the development of robot when it is dangerous, dirty, or dull. Is clear? Second basis. Work which we human being can perform. Is clear? But we can't compete with robot in terms of speed, production, and accuracy. Is clear? Work which we human being can perform. But robot can perform with very high speed, so very high production and very high accuracy. For example, the best work a robot perform is to implement transistors on semiconductor chips. Clear? In just this size semiconductor chip, lakhs of transistors are embedded. So just think of it. We human being can also perform, but you can understand in one day, one chip will be manufactured. But you can understand with great accuracy, robots perform this task. Is clear? So what is the second basis? Work which we human being can perform, but robots perform with high speed, high production and very great accuracy. Is clear? Now, on these two bases, there started the design of robotics. Clear? So design of robotics. So now technically coming, what is robot? So there started the robot design. Robot now is an electronic device which performs human task on two bases. Clear? This electronic device consists of three electronic components. First, manipulator. Second, actuator. And third, sensor. First, understand in one word. So, what is technically a robot? Robot is an electronic device having three electronic components: manipulator, actuator, and sensor. Now, manipulator, in one word, is to perform the task. Is clear? Now, how we human being perform a task? By our hand. Clear? So manipulator is like hand. Clear? Actuator is an electronic component to provide motion to the robot. Clear? How we human being perform any task? We need energy. Clear? So manipulator perform the task, and actuator provides the motion to perform the task. Clear? Sensor is the electronic component which decides what I have to do. For example, how we human being are performing a task? We senses. Clear? So with our sensing, we defined that by this time we have to perform this task. Is clear? For example, sitting in class, you defined that my objective is to look from here to here. Exactly. It is defined to the sensors of robot that if you have entered into the class, your work is this. Is clear? So sensor decides the task, actuator provides the motion to do the task, and manipulator performs the task. Clear? Now, coming in detail. Sensor is of two types. Technically, is called as proprioceptive and all that I will dictate. Understand in simple. First, internal sensor. Second, external sensor. See, internal sensor means we human being perform two type of sensing. One is internal sensing, by which we decides that we have to do the task. Second, we have decided that we have to do this task. So second is what? External sensing. External sensing means while performing the task, we have decided that in the class, if we are sitting, we have to look to this. Is clear? So likewise, there are two type of sensors to robot. Clear? Second, with external sensing, we human beings safeguards ourselves. For example, if we human being are walking and some vehicle is approaching, we takes the turn. By doing so, how we are safeguarding ourselves? So, with external sensors, robot safeguards itself in the outside world. Is clear? Now, after sensor, now motion to be provided in three ways. First, what is the work of a robot? To perform the task. In performing a task, two things matters. First, what is the load of the task? And second, what is the speed in performing the task? So on the basis of speed and load, actuators are of three types. First, task where is a requirement of high speed and low load. That is, load is not having relevance, but speed matters. For example, take a case, a robot to design silicon semiconductor chip. You can understand, silicon semiconductor chips happens to be some microgram. So no meaning of load, but what is the meaning? Speed. Our objective is what? We want lakhs of transistor to be produced just in 1 hour. Is clear? So first type of actuator are used for high speed and low load task. Is clear? Is called as electric actuator. Second, just opposite. Low speed, high load. Is clear? For example, in lifting a heavy machine from one place to another, it can be performed in 1 day. Clear? But load is very high, so called as hydraulic actuator. Clear? Third, both medium to low. Low to medium speed and low to medium load. It's called as pneumatic actuator. Is clear? Now, so robot have performed the sensing, have decided the task, robot is provided the motion. Now this is to perform the task. So while performing the task, manipulator is connected to another electronic component that is called as end effector. Clear? End effector is having another electronic component called gripper, which are of two type in performing two type of task. First, to perform a task in the physical world. For example, in the physical world, to lift an object from one place to another, clear? Called as impactive, means to have an impact on an object. Ingressive, to perform various industrial tasks like welding, drilling, clear? So are of two types. So the point is clear. So how robot is designed? Having three components: task, motion, and sensing. Is clear? Now, robots are designed. Now, again come to this. You know, robot is electronics, and you know how electronics developed. Starting days to 1980s, robot, like other electronics, was only having hardware. Clear? So, when robots was only having hardware till 80s, so such robots now coming to types. Such robots were mainly the manual devices. You can understand? Hardware means what? Physical devices. Physical devices to perform the task. So, robots are mainly categorized into two. First are called as industrial robot. So very simple, what is industrial robot? Robots which performs the industrial task there by this way, and such robots are mainly based on hardware components. Is clear? Now, you know, our electronics get so advanced since 80s till date. Every electronics is now controlled by software. Software and applications decide what electronic have to perform. For example, a mobile phone, multi-purpose electronics. Clear? So exactly when this development happened, most modern type of robotics development started, that is second type. Is clear? So when our electronics get advanced, that is very simple. When electronics are equipped with hardware and software features, then robot function became very much clear. And when this happened, that like other electronics, we started utilizing software to guide robot, to perform the task of robot, and at the same time we decided that now this device have become much more advanced, so why not, if this device is doing human task, so why not this device is so designed that it will look like human. Clear? So is the most modern type of robot, that is called as humanoid robot. Is clear? You might have heard about humanoid robot. Is clear? So what is humanoid robot? Try to memorize: robot which resembles human being in doing the task and are the most modern, equipped with software features. So with software feature, such robots are equipped with so application that it can perform autonomous learning. It can adjust its strategies based on the surrounding. Is clear? So are the two types of robot. Is clear? So it is clear to you how robotics evolved, how regulated, two bases, how the design happened technically, and there are two types.
But they're sensing power different. They're sensing power different industrial.
No, see, industrial robots were the conventional one and are mainly the physical devices. Physical devices. For example, industrial robot best example is to place a nuclear fuel in the nuclear reactor. Clear? Not much guided by software. Physical device taking uranium rod, going by conveyor belt, placing in the reactor, coming out. Clear? So you can understand much more application of software. Much more application of software comes here. Is clear? Now, so till this is clear to you all. So first complete the writing till this. Right. Under the design and types of robot, right, first point. In the decades of 1940s and 50s, Isaac Asimov, a science fiction author, in his science fictional stories started writing about countering a prevalent social evil termed as robota, which means forced labor or compulsory service. Forced labor or compulsory service. Change the paragraph. The ongoing contemporary development in the field of science and technology, that is in electronics, in the field of science and technology, that is electronics, with such ideas and principles introduced a new branch of science and technology termed as robotics, with objectives to design, develop, and manufacture, design, develop, and manufacture an electronic device called robot to perform task task. Change the paragraph. In the writings of Asimov, he always emphasized on the principle and ideas of using such devices, never to be against human being, never to be against human being in any way, in any way. Such principle is considered as laws of robotics, under which there started regulation in the development of robotics. Regulation in the development of robotics. Change the paragraph. Under robotics, two bases were defined in the design and development of robot. First, work which human being can't perform, which is categorized as dangerous, dirty, and dull task. Second, work which a human being can perform, but a robot can perform with high speed, so high productivity, with great accuracy. Change the paragraph. On the two bases and under laws of robotics, there started development of robotics with the design having mainly following three components. First, manipulator, right, are the electronic component to perform the task. Next point. In performing the task, manipulator is connected to another component known as end effector. End effector. Underline all these component name. Which is then connected. Which is then connected to. Which is then connected to another component in performing task in two ways known as gripper. In two ways known as gripper. First, impactive gripper. Impactive gripper. Right. Task which is to be performed in the physical world. Second, ingressive, INGRE, ingressive gripper, task like drilling, welding, etc. Okay. Second, actuator. Right, are the component which is used to provide motion to the robot. On the basis of speed and load required in performing a task, actuators are categorized into three types. First, electric actuator. Right, for task which involved high speed and low load applications. High speed and low load applications. Second, hydraulic actuator. Task which involve low speed and high load applications. Third, pneumatic, PNEUMATIC, pneumatic actuator. Task which involve low to medium load and low to medium speed applications. Right, third, sensors are the most important electronic component which is used which is used to provide sensing to robot in performing the task in the physical world. Next, sensors are of sensors are of two types. Write the first one. Right, sensors used for internal sensing in internal balance, control and self maintenance. Right example: inclinometer, INCLINO, inclinometer are the sensors by which robot senses about inclination of an object to the surface. Inclination of an object to the surface. Next example, right? Position sensor. Position sensor, right? Modern day navigation system like GPS is also used as position sensor. Second, right? Exteroceptive sensor. Sensors which is used for external sensing. External sensing. Example: vision sensor. Sensors by which robot decides the visual field where the task is to be performed. Visual field where the task is to be performed. One more example, right? Proximity sensor. Proximity sensor by which robot senses about nearness or farness of an object. Okay. Now give the heading types of robot. Robots are broadly categorized into two types. First, industrial robot. Are the robots mainly designed to perform industrial tasks. Next point in this, right? Domestic robots are the उसी में next point है. Domestic robots are the special case of industrial robots which is specially designed to perform domestic work. Next, second, humanoid robot. Are the most modern and advanced type of robot which resembles like human being, which resembles like human being and equipped with features of autonomous learning by which learn and gain new abilities, comma, also can adjust to strategies based on surrounding. Such robots also have the features of NLP, natural language processing. Okay, now give the heading application of robotics. Okay, now stop writing, listen. So what is robot is clear to you. In the present modern context we are talking about the mainly humanoid robot. Is clear? So now application of robotics. First, space technology. See, if I'll ask you in one line, what is a space technology? How will you define space technology?
So the satellites, the launch vehicles.
Directly satellite. Define launch this space technology, and I have said how to define a thing: maximum information, minimum words, more simple. This is the meaning of definition.
The launch vehicles into space. The study of space and observation of space through launch vehicles, satellites.
ठीक है, more appropriate. Or try to define. See, is a technical means to access space in frequency, to perform access space in frequency with launch vehicle and satellites to perform practical applications like earth observation, communication, and also for studies, that is a space mission. Now you can understand, in this entire line I have almost said everything: frequency, launch vehicle and all. Clear? So space technology is launching satellites or launching a space mission. Is clear? In launching satellite, there is no relevance of robotics. Coming to space mission, you know space missions are mainly of three types: orbiter, lander, or observatory. Is clear? In orbiter, you know scientific instruments are sent, no relevance. But in lander, you know, there is a scientific instrument called rover which made landed. Clear? This rover is the robotic spacecraft that is designed for space technology. Is clear? For example, Pragyan of India. Now, but robotic technology find mainly applications in observatory. Now, what is observatory? In this robotic topic, you will have revision of many topics. What is observatory?
Basically, it is a collection of scientific instruments that study the waves present in waves and frequencies present in space from LEO and various.
What is its objective? To study the universe? Simple. To study the universe mainly by placing space missions where? In LEO or in other places to study the universe. Now, you know how challenging is this study? Because this is not like orbiter and lander. Clear? Is a matter of observation. So better, who can observe? Better, if human being will be sent, they can observe better. Clear? So we started first by sending scientific instrument. We call such scientific instrument as observatory or also as telescope, like James Webb telescope. Clear? But what we notice in our advancement to space technology, that the observation will be more accurate if human being will be sent to space. Just think of it. If scientists will be sent to space, then they can observe better. They can come out with more relevant theories. So in 1998, for the first time, USA and Russia came to an agreement and they decided to establish one station, International Space Station. Clear? 1998 to present, ISS is at work. Observation is going on, but very challenging on two lines. First, sending human being to station is very challenging. For example, Sunitya Williams now stuck in space. So exactly, there are various challenges in sending human being to space. Clear? Challenges in their presence, challenges to assist them. There are so many challenges. So, and we can send for limited period of time, and you know this study is not so limited. Clear? So in year 2011, for the first time, NASA designed and developed one robotic system. This is the mainly start of robotic system in space technology. NASA came to this point that instead of human being, what is humanoid robot? Resembles like human, behaves like human, can perform like human. So, like human, sent a humanoid robot to ISS. Clear? It will perform the observation like the way human being performs. Is clear? So is the start year 2011. Clear? Now coming to prelims. These are the main things important for prelims. Clear? That is robot sent for this task. These are the things that can be asked in multiple. So year 2011, it is the robonaut that I will dictate. Clear? Now, year 2013, Japan sent world's first talking humanoid robot. You have just now written that humanoid robot is also having the feature of NLP, natural language processing. NLP means, for example, say we two human beings knows a common language. Clear? Understanding common language we processes the language for understanding various things. This is called natural language processing. The way we understand a language and we have the conversation, exactly a particular language is enabled in the robot, and it talks, it processes, it works in the same way how we have the conversation with a common language. Clear? This is called NLP. So it's very much important. Japan sent Kirobo, world's first talking humanoid robot in space, that is at ISS, to assist astronauts working there. Is clear? So start is of NASA, but what happened? NASA launched first, but this robot diagnosed with some technical fault. So NASA called this back. Clear? So now, 2019, most important question. Russia sent world's first full humanoid robot. Full humanoid robot means complete structure like human being, with the objectives of studying the space, observing the space, but a new objective is associated with this, that this robot is made so that it can withstand any harmful radiation in space. The material made it so that it can withstand any harmful radiation, so can have much more appropriate study. Clear? So is the 19 now. Recent development in terms of ISRO, very much important for exam. You might have heard about Vyom Mitra. Vyom Mitra. What is it? सुना है? क्या है? हाँ, very good. See, you know Gaganyaan mission is a human space mission. So, in human space mission, it has been planned that before launching of the mission, a female, half female humanoid robot, Vyom Mitra, is designed by ISRO, and objective is to test this robot first in Gaganyaan. First it will be launched. An entire study will be performed, that what issues comes when a human being goes to space. After this technical demonstration, then we will launch human being under the Gaganyaan mission. Is clear? So is very much important for exam. Is clear? So in space technology, robotic find relevance mainly in observatory. Clear? One new development that we have discussed is Japan's robotic system to work towards space debris. You can recall NEO-01. Clear? So this is a new start, additional one, that Japan have launched a new robot, LEO, in LEO for space debris. Is clear? So mainly robotic find application in sending robot to space stations. Example are this. Is clear? Now, coming to second application, defense technology. Same defense technology in one line. Define defense technology in one line. Very good. Or I have said much more information, less words, more simple. Very good. With the help of technology having two aspects. One is warfare technology and the another one is defense system. Clear? So defense technology means first, if there will be war, have to engage in war, and second, to possess a system to defend, that is defense system. Now, going by the principle, that is laws of robotics, you know, in any case, if we will use robot, it is against human being. Take a case, if we will use a robot in war against human being. Clear? So for a long, robotic find no relevance in defense technology, because whatever a robot will be developed in whatever application, it will be against human being, because defense technology is a matter of war. Is clear? But USA for the first time came out with one development, and this development of USA made robotics significant for defense technology. USA came to this point that we are not going to introduce the field robotics to defense technology, but two bases, dangerous, dirty and dull. So USA came to this point that robotic system to be developed to assist the soldiers at war front. Now understand this two difference. Not to use in war because against human being, but in assisting those who are at the war front. Assistance is also defined. Assistance is defined on what lines? Is a dangerous work, but assistance is also defined that if some soldier will be injured, robotic system will assist. Second, you know how the explosives are planted, huge damage, clear, to life and lives. So such explosives can be detected by robotic system. Clear? So USA came to this concept just in one word, to assist in defense technology, not to work in defense technology. Assistance is defined in many applications, like to assist injured personals in war, to defuse roadside bombs, landmines. Now you can understand how serious casualties happened with such. Clear? So now, with this, USA first developed a robotic system, Foster Miller Talon. This robotic system was for the first time used by USA in Iraq and Afghanistan military operations. And such robotic system in defense technology is called as ROV, remotely operated vehicles. That is, it can be operated from remote area. So just think, such robots are operated from remote area and assisted the USA military in the ongoing military operation where it diffused the roadside bombs, it assisted soldiers. So now you can understand a great work by USA in defense technology by introduction of robotics. Clear? So with this, now you can understand a new field emerged. Companies started manufacturing robots for applications in defense technology. Clear? So with this, now coming to India, DRDO started working for such robotic system. Now just take a case. Recently also there happened serious casualties to armed forces by this landmine blast. Clear? But India have decided not to utilize technologies to counter, say, Naxalism and all. Clear? Otherwise, you can understand, such technology, if it can be utilized, any ID blast site can be detected beforehand. Clear? If such technology, just take a case, if remote sensing will be utilized, it will become very clear their movement in forest areas. Clear? But India considers such as a social issue that can be worked out by taking them into mainstream by social works. Clear? That is why India is not utilizing technology in such cases. Clear? So, in spite of this technological development, what the start in India? Government of India allowed DRDO to work on such robot just in one case. That case is, robot under laws of robotic can't be designed and developed against human being, but there is an inhuman practice by non-state actors, terrorism, clear. So for terrorism, Government of India allowed DRDO to develop a robotic system which can be utilized if the need arises to against terrorists. Clear? So DRDO developed this one in India as anti-terrorist ROV named as Daksh. Is clear? Now, is a ROV that can be operated from remote station, and just think if 2008 like attack, you can understand how challenging are such attacks when a person started random firing is very challenging to security forces to counter such. Just think of it. If likewise there will be many such person and will start random firing in a huge crowded location, so it will become challenging. So DRDO have designed this robotic system that can work in any crowded location, equipped with advanced sensors that it can detect the target in any crowded location, and such will be utilized in such cases of attacks. Clear? So you can understand ROV is a concept in defense technology. USA started with this objective, but India is only working for ROV, not for various applications, but only for applications related to anti-terrorist operation. Is clear? So very important for prelims is the Daksh. Is clear? Now, next application is industrial sector. The industrial sector is simple. In industries, you can understand, robot is used mainly on two bases: speed, production, accuracy. So in industrial sector, wherever there is a matter of speed, there is a matter of production, there is a matter of accuracy, robots are used. Clear? That I will dictate, for example, in packaging industry, in this automobile industry, in assembly of vehicles and all, robots are used. Is clear? Now, next is environment and disaster management. See, in disaster management, both in pre and post disaster operation, the thing became challenging for human being to work in relief operation. So robotic systems are designed for this. Now, in case of mining operation, when a mine operation is completed, coal mines or any mines are left abandoned and there start exposure of harmful gases. As harmful gases exposure starts, so even human worker can't go and performs the uncovering of mines. Is clear? So is again challenging. So USA have developed a robotic system for this also, that is groundhog system. Is clear? So you can understand in various application, mainly USA and developed countries are working more and more in this regard. Is clear? Now, last is the social sector, and at last health and medicine. Social sector, so many applications, clear, but in so many applications it is restricted on two bases. You can send in social sector a robot very much in demand that can be sent in place of you to class. Clear? If you don't want to come class, you can send your robot, but you can understand this is against human being. Clear? You can authorize a robot that will write my mains answer. You can understand, and that robot is equipped with Google in the sensor. Clear? So such tasks are what? Against human being. So in social sector, only such robots which are having relevance with two bases are only allowed to work, and only such robots are licensed to robotic industries in the design and development of robot. Is clear? So much more interest in social sector are two. First, the domestic robots, clear, in day-to-day activities, and second, robots for sewage and septic line cleaning. Is clear? I have said that how developed countries countered this social evil and almost eradicated by the use of technology. Clear? Recently, Government of India have started the same concept of development of robotics to work towards countering manual scavenging. Is clear? While working toward the same, now first robot, Homo Sep, is developed by IIT Madras, that is implemented as a pilot project. Second, in under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the first robotic system, Bandicoot, which have received the Kerala Pride Award, is launched in Kerala. Is clear? So now you can understand. As is the start, so I have said two examples. In the coming days, you will find more and more robotics which find applications for manual scavenging replacement. Is clear? So all such robotics are to be noted down, will be important for prelims and to that mains question.